age-restricted my Sniperwolf video because the transcript bot detected Jack's friend saying, "Is she trying to dox you right now?" as, "Is she trying to do you?" Included are 3 images. First, the age restriction notification from the studio part of YouTube Video Manager. The second, you can review the issue with a timestamp. The timestamp confirms what Boblax has said to be the case. The transcript does not match what was being said in the video, but apparently that is okay. So the second image is his ability to appeal. The third is proof of what was said according to transcript as opposed to what was actually said. And of course, I can't play it because I'll get hit with age restriction. However, I have noticed of late, people who get views like Boblax does, something which I can't get. I'm just not good enough. In the context of Boblax though, he can get the attention. And because even now Sniperwolf is considered a bit of a darling on the internet, it does get buried. YouTubers get buried. The same thing happened when people were talking about EDP and YouTube were desperate for them not to appear on the homepage. So they gave people strikes just for mentioning EDP, whereas I seem to have gone unnoticed in that. 3 hours after tweeting out the original tweet, Boblax retweeted it by saying the video is not getting its false age restriction removed because the system is broken. He included a paste bin link. Here's the conversation I had with YouTube creator support telling me that our automated caption can make mistakes and that they can't revert it. I'm not going to bore you with the entire conversation. I will though read the final part of the paste bin he has linked. PM Paprika. At the moment, please know that all of us here on YouTube need to follow this policy of 1 appeal per video. I do apologize for this matter. A one and done. Are you out of your mind? The appeal is incorrect. Your own system has now been demonstrably proven to be wrong and faulty, and you're saying it can't be appealed any further? While we're in this ballpark, Carvos on Twitter. YouTube just released a statement saying Sniperwolf's second channel was also demonetized at the same time as the first one. The reason they had to jump in on this is because many had accused them, and Sniperwolf, of not demonetizing her fully, and of her uploading her content from the main channel to her second channel so she could still make money from it. Plugins showed it definitely wasn't, and viewers confirmed yesterday that they got ads on the videos, definitely covering their tracks since the public outrage. Included 2 images. The first, Team YouTube. Hi there. Jumping in to confirm that Sniperwolf Top Videos channel was also temporarily suspended from the YouTube Partner Program per our Creator Responsibility Guidelines. Consistent with that policy, we applied the YouTube Partner Program suspension to the creators' associated channels. The second image is an ad appearing on the Sniperwolf Top Videos channel for reacting to funniest TikToks, Try Not to Laugh, Sniperwolf and Monetized. Now the thing here is YouTube changed their terms of service a little while back so that they could monetize creators or earn money from creators who were not monetized by putting ads on their content. I know this because one of my mods makes shorts and narration content, but she's not monetized, yet ads appear on her content. I'm not trying to play devil's advocate on purpose, I just want to highlight that some might try and fob it off as that. When it says monetized there, of course, that raises the concern, as the image quite clearly shows, that in fact YouTube have not applied their rules to this. However, I do think that maybe she has been demonetized because on her Instagram she put out a statement. The statement itself was tweeted by Carvos, who said, Sniperwolf just put out a new statement where she's taking a step back for her mental health. Just reads like she's playing victim after bringing a ton of this hate on herself for doxing Jack's films. It's a vacation until her monetization is back. The image reads, please remember that in spite of our differences, different opinions, mistakes, we all struggle to do the best we can and nobody is unaffected by hate, insecurity and the pain it causes. I am taking a step back, reflecting, learning, turning off the comments for a bit, and focusing on my own mental health that has been on the steep decline the past year. I'm not going to read the rest because I actually don't care enough. I guess the gauge for one's improvement in mental health will be for how long the suspension is to when we get more TikTok reaction videos, or when we get more cliche bathroom non-smile pictures on Instagram. The same facial expression you get from Pokimane.
Where's Terry Joe? I'm waiting for Terry Joe to join the live because I really need to speak to her about my unchristian ways.
Next, we're going to talk about Mr. Beast. The reason why is because of Creator Games, and one of those involved in it wasn't best impressed at how they were represented in the final product. Rosanna Pansino, a YouTuber with about 14.5 million subscribers. That's a lot of subs. The channel isn't, let's say, as successful as it should be for a subscriber count that high, but they do enjoy making the content they make regardless. On Twitter, Rosanna put out a statement. I have been allowing others to treat me poorly in private for many years and I'm fed up. I'm going to start standing up for myself and finding my voice. Image, Mr. Beast lied and edited me out of the top 3 in Creator Games 3. I have participated in Creator Games 1 and 2 and was excited to be part of YouTube's Creator Games 3 hide and seek at SoFi Stadium. After filming had wrapped, I truly couldn't believe how well I did at the competition and was proud of what I had achieved. I placed 3rd. Congratulations. When the video was released, I was shocked, disappointed and felt hurt. Mr. Beast had edited the video to make me look like I performed worse than I did. This was extra upsetting because I genuinely believed him when he said that his videos are authentic and real. He edited the video to look like the final 3 were Valarie, Logan Paul and Zach King. The final 3 people were actually Zach, Quackity and myself. For the entire duration of filming, we all wore earpieces connected to walkie-talkies. They would announce in our ears when someone had been found or when we had to move hiding spots. While I was still hiding, they had announced they found Logan Paul. I couldn't believe I outlasted him. He is a fierce competitor. It was getting really late. We filmed for over 24 hours straight, and they eventually offered me money to come out of hiding and quit. I declined. I had been counting the eliminations and I was currently in 4th. Jimmy asked us to move hiding spots again. At this time, that I was found in transition moving to our next hiding spot. When Jimmy found me, he brought me to the field to be with the others that had also been found. I thought I placed 4th, however Valarie had fallen asleep and hadn't moved in a long time, so he was disqualified. This meant I got 3rd place. When I arrived to the field, I saw Matt, Pat and Logan there because they were seekers now. Jimmy said he was going to look for Zach and asked if anyone wanted to join him. I offered to help, but he said he wanted to take Logan instead, so I hung back to start looking for Zach in a different location. I placed 3rd, Quackity 2nd and Zach 1st. That is what actually happened. Despite Jimmy editing out the only female in the top 3, I was proud of what I had achieved. I followed the rules of the game, gave it my all, had fun, never gave up. They can't take that away from me. On the 22nd of May 2022, this had been confirmed by Quackity in Spanish on the Rubius Twitch channel. There was a clip with that, but I don't have it. Rosanna had tweeted at Quackity, confirmed what happened separately and I didn't even know it. Many have pounced on this, obviously for being a bit late, according to that date, but also for pointing out only female, as if this is a misogyny thing. Actually, it's something vastly simpler. YouTubers are fake. They can all claim to be real if you want, but you still, after all these years, have to be deluded if you think they're actually that. The vast majority I have encountered over the years on YouTube are opportunistic snakes that will at the very first opportunity stab you in the back, or turn on you when there is nothing for them to complain about, or once they got everything they want from you. So I don't fraternize with many anymore. Those that do vlogs, those that do games, competitions with their little circle of trust, yeah, no, they're not real. They're really not. If you still think they are, you are quite precious. And since I'm on this subject of what is real, what is not, who is a hack and who is a fraud and who is honest, I'm going to talk about a random block of the week now, but has a fantastic story to it. So for the story of my random block of the week, we go back to another tweet. The video though is no longer around, as it was deleted by the original uploader. The video concerned French fried girl getting very angry because somebody had been emailing her, and she didn't reply to the first email fast enough. FFG recently lost a mother, and for that I am truly sorry. As someone that has lost their mother, I cannot for even a moment hammer you for that. I would never do that. I'm very sorry for your loss, and depression is not the easiest to deal with. It is an ongoing battle that many of us fight on a daily basis. You handle it differently, of course. My issue is the handling of the situation and people using your grief and depression as an excuse for shitty behaviour. That is not a validation of it, and there's a reason, and I'll get to it soon. So when I tweeted out the video, or retweeted it with how sad, one of 2 people had replied to me of interest. Your adjudication. You're right. It's very sad that someone who just lost her mother to cancer had a stranger make a demand of her while still freshly in mourning and battling her own war against depression that she's been talking about for over a week. I replied to this with, "Hi, I have depression and lost my mother in a car crash, the depression caused because of the crash. I've never lashed out at anyone over it, hurt, but I retained control. Not everyone is the same. The reaction is understandable, but equally unnecessary." Reply, "I never said it was an appropriate response, but I do agree with you that it was understandable." Reply, because I couldn't be asked with them, "You're literally being a sarcastic walnut and giving excuses for her behaviour. The density in this community," facepalm emojis. Later, I tweeted, "Don't use grief and poor mental health to tear other people down. It may feel good or like a release, but it achieves nothing positive and simply creates further toxicity within others. There is never a valid use to use either as a shield for bad behaviour." This tweet was inspired by FFG, because as is the case, you are inspired by many things you see. It is a vitally important generalised point. Many did use it to point out that she's acted like this long before the grieving, and I agree. It's why I don't like her. Reply to me though, I think the person sending a second email to have a go at her for not responding to the first fast enough for them was shitty as F. She also didn't name the person, so how is that tearing them down? I of course had to point out, I was speaking in general. They then call me disingenuous. I then decided, because I'm a dickhead, to show them how FFG treats others that she looks down on by using a very similar aggressive style in a tweet, by calling her an effing melt, and that maybe I'll make 4 channels and devote them to her Twitter, and that as I lost my mother once, it's totally okay, right? Yeah, they blocked me. It was one of the easiest blocks I'd ever received in my life. But this is where it gets amusing, because they then said that's super cute behind a block, and clever because now people will click through to me and see your cowardice. Later on they also confirmed their stupidity, that is, by saying not a Megon calling me a pussy for blocking him when he blocked me too. I haven't blocked you for shit, you silly bitch. You'd have known that if you went to my Twitter. I have 1 account blocked on my Twitter, and that's because they're a stalker. I don't block or mute anyone. I really don't. Even the ads, I didn't block any of that either. I really should have it, to be honest. Your dear darling favoritist of creators, Omegle the Octopussy, is still mad I called him a grifter. Truth hurts, I guess. Now this is an interesting one, to be called a grifter by someone who's made over $250,000 in super chats. I don't make anywhere near that. In fact, my entire YouTube career, I have not made anything close to that. I don't think I've made even 100 grand on YouTube in the 8.5 years. Not, of course, that it matters how much one makes, how big your subscriber count is, doesn't really matter. If you're correct, you're correct. If you're wrong, you're wrong. But to call me a grifter, let's compare the two for a moment. I am a video producer type person. I have made videos for 8.5 years. I do stream on Twitch, but I don't shill myself. I don't beg for money much either, beyond vet bills I've had in the past. And log cabin stuff, which did very well and is now finished. Except for the bar part, but we'll get to that later. You have 4 YouTube channels and a Twitch channel. You predominantly cover Chantel, Foodie Beauty, and you do sprinkle a few little bits here and there in those videos. When she was yeeted, you didn't do so well for that matter. Yes, I noticed. I have 118,000 subscribers and you have just over 30,000. You've done very well for yourself considering you are limited by what is in front of you. You are a one-dimensional pony in a 3-dimensional horse race. I am just a dickhead with a microphone that uses images and makes videos and streams car games on Twitch. Yes, I don't beg for money. You do beg for money. I reply to everyone in my chat. You only reply to super chats. You see what I'm doing here? The only trolling you've ever done wasn't to Chantel. It was yourself into believing you were ever on a weight loss journey. Don't think I didn't know about that. The only thing of worth to you is the fact you've built a community entirely built on lies to bleed for all the money you can get from them while hocking, coughing, spluttering and shouting into a microphone about Chantel's bad decision because you have nothing else to offer. I get very little views on other things I do, but I still do it because I enjoy it. Anyway, just as a general statement, I see what you did here, Dell. Judging someone's behaviour while they're grieving when they're short-tempered, emotional, angry, because they always were, is shitty as F and you know it. Someone did reply to you and underneath you went, Megan was giving it, oh, I'm going to do a video exposing her lies a year ago. Why is the video nowhere to be seen? Here's the answer. Because it wouldn't get any views. No one cares about French fried Goral except for those in her own community, many of whom are walking away because they can't stand her anymore. That happens, by the way, when you get so full of yourself and you get so arrogant, you lie so much that even those who actually have some integrity start walking away. The ones that are left are just the ones dumb enough to keep throwing money at her. You continue to dunk on me for having bad views, having over 100k subs, my views are trash, for not atting her because I'm a dick, which is a given, I've always been a dick. And because you're so obsessive, much like FFG with Chantel, whenever anyone had to point out that, you know, I'm not a grifter, you had to say that everyone's incorrect and lacking context. Like, bitch, you don't need the context. You just need to accept that it doesn't matter how big or small you are, how many views you get, how much money you make. You can be correct and or wrong. In this, I am correct, and you are definitely wrong. Even with the context of why she was being so vitriolic, it does not matter, it cannot be excused, and I'll make this statement again, because I made it at the end when I decided to walk away from this. I love observing how communities interact with each other. Creators often find themselves in a position of power. This invariably leads to some being sycophants, white knights, and a lack of critical thought. If one cannot introspect or possess an iota of skepticism, then one runs the risk of blindly following others off a cliff. That same cliff is where a lot of creators build their homes. If the foundations aren't strong, you'll crash. Failing that, time will definitely get you. Never be so blind as to ignore the warnings that lies, deceit, and basic grifting will not accomplish anything of worth. The relationship between creators and fans in this instance is always a one-way street. And yes, a recent interaction created this. Oh, and it doesn't matter how many views you get, not how much you make. If you are right, then you are right. Simples. I am not a fan of FFG because she is the absolute negative of a community that could be something else. She represents the worst in it. She poisons the well. That's what her existence on YouTube does for that community. And I do believe there is some positive from that community that could exist beyond it. And don't even get me started on all the creators she's tried to destroy because she fell out with them over simple misunderstandings. Even with the context, the reaction was typically over the top. And if you are a fan and you now want to make excuses, do try to remember here, I have spoken to the creators she's done this to. I have both sides. She's in the wrong and you are still trying to make excuses for it. I would never go out of my way to destroy another creator. I'll criticize them for bad decisions. I will tell people not to go and harass. I will tell people not to do it for Twitter as well. The same cannot be said for FFG. So why are you still trying to defend that when you know how bad it is on the entire YouTube ecosystem, even in the small bubble that is Garra world?